Hey YouTube, Citizen Patriot here again with another video, and this video's topic is going to be on why I think the United States is screwed up. There's two main reasons. Number one, I think it's a lack of quality education, and number two, I think it's a lack of religion. So, start with the first topic, education. You talk to a lot of people, and you ask them, what do you think is wrong? They say, oh, it's education. We got to put more money in schools. We got to get more teachers. Got to build more schools. That's not the problem. Problem is quality. In schools, especially in public schools, students are taught specifically one stance on an issue. There's a lack of open-mindedness. If you talk to someone, they could say, I love NBC, I hate Fox News, conservatives are dumb, I'm going to vote Democratic every time. Then you could talk to another person, that's the complete opposite, that say, I love Fox News, I hate NBC, liberals are dumb, I'm going to vote Republican all the time. That's a problem. You want more open-minded people. In schools, they need to teach, both sides of an argument. Teach people to think for themselves so you can get enough information, enough facts, read a little bit from, this topic and that topic so you can form your own opinion. And I think that's a big problem because then you have people that are just blind voters that vote for someone for one particular reason that won't even consider the other side of the argument. And that's a huge problem because then you have a majority that will not switch at all, so the minority has no rights. Now, the Founding Fathers actually, when they were creating the Constitution and the basics of our country, they knew this could be a problem. They said, obviously, we need a republican government. We need, a form of democracy. But they said that there needs to be certain guidelines that will prevent this kind of thing from happening. And they specifically say that, minorities have to have certain rights. That way the majority can't control them all the time. Obviously, in a democratic form of government, the majority rules. But then you often have a problem where the majority votes one way every single time. And that's a problem. And they also, warned us about basically a tyrannical democracy, which is where one candidate or one person kind of can dictate what the majority does. Now, I'm not calling anybody a tyrant or anything like that. I'm just saying that this is kind of the stuff that the founders warned. Anyway, getting back on subject, a lack of open-mindedness is a big problem. People need to, broaden their view. Get both sides of the opinion and form their own stance on a topic. Back in the 1800s, there was a French journalist that came from France to see what made America different. Why were so many people going to America? And this was early 1800s. And the thing that surprised him the most was that you could take a farmhand, right, from a regular, corn farm or something, or anywhere, and talk to them, and they spoke better English than the King of England himself. They were so passionate about their country and their constitution, things like that. They could read off verses from the Bible and the amendments. You can't do that now, all right? And this was back when people didn't even graduate high school, when the average person got like a 5th or 6th grade education. Now we have people going to college that can't even recite the First or Second Amendment. That's a problem, all right? I'm not saying you got to be die-hard American history, but you should know the basics. You should, understand your rights. I mean, I love sports, I love football and basketball, but it's not the world. There are more important things than that, and we all know someone that's so infatuated with entertainment and that's on their phone or watching, football all the time that they really don't care about anything else. And there's more than life than just sports, all right? The, future of your country, the future of your life is a little more important than NCAA basketball. But in any case, just if you compare modern day people with those back then, Americans back in the day were much more passionate about the Constitution and their rights. And I think it's just because they understood their rights. Again, going back to open-mindedness, if you get both sides of the opinion and you understand what your rights are and things like that, then you are usually much more concerned with them. So, second topic, which is religion. Obviously, we have the First Amendment says there is no established religion. I'm just saying that religion is important. Doesn't matter what it is, but it is important. Because our rights are given to us by our Creator. No No person, no government can give us our rights. Actually, I have it right here from the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Constitution itself. It's from a book, the United States Constitution and Other American Documents. It's full of, the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, Articles of Confederation, things like that. So it's, blatantly stated that our rights in the Bill of Rights are given to us by our Creator. No one else. No person, no government, no organization. It is from the big man upstairs and nobody else. And I think that when people forget that, then you're much more susceptible to be controlled by a government that you might not, always agree with. And that's a problem. Especially if you don't believe in a God at all, because then where do your rights come from? Then obviously those people believe that the government gives you those rights, and that's simply not true. The first 10 amendments, the most important in the Bill of Rights, are given to every human being by God. Doesn't matter if you're Chinese, if you're American, if you're German, Mexican, whatever, those rights are given to you by God. Every human being on earth has those rights. Whether they seize them or not is up to them, but every human being is given those rights. The following amendments after those are specifically to Americans. So the lack of religion is I think it's a big problem, because when people forget that God gives you those rights, then, people automatically think the government does, and that's simply not true. Now, don't tell me that there's a separation of church and state, because, pardon my French, that is complete bullshit. Alright? Religion is not something that you can flip on and off like a light switch, alright? If you're a Christian, if you're a Jew, if you're a Muslim or a Hindu, you carry that faith with you everywhere you go. Alright? When I get up in the morning on Sundays to go to church, I don't say, alright, time to get my Christian on, flip it on like a light switch, and then when church is over, flip it off, no God, just politics, alright? As long as your feet touch the ground, there is no separation of church and state. Alright? How can you say that you got to keep your religion outside of everything else? If you're really a religious person, then it's an influential part of your life. So there is no separation of church and state. It's complete BS. It's just a way to violate your First Amendment rights. So if anyone says, please don't talk about God, you don't want to offend anyone, well, you know what? You're offending me, because you are violating my First Amendment rights. So it's complete garbage. And again, if people forget that their rights are given to them by their Creator, by God, then, what's the whole point? Then people think that the government dictates what they do. George Washington didn't give me my rights. Alright, Thomas Jefferson didn't give me my rights. Barack Obama does not give me my rights. God gives me my rights. No one else. And that's what makes America so different, because we were the first country that accepted that, no man, no king, no agency gives us our rights. Only God does. And people can't forget that. Thomas Jefferson had a great quote. It said, slaves ask for permission, free men do what they wish. And that is because we are free men, free women. We are supposed to be able to do what we want. God gives us our rights. No government, no person. And, that is we need to understand that fully and accept that concept, because if we don't, then very slowly our very basic rights are sucked out of us as Americans, and we can't let that happen, otherwise our country's down the toilet. So that's very important. It's something I'm very passionate about, and I just think that more people need to act on that. I can't vote yet, so obviously I can't go out on election day, but I do try to do my part. I've been sending emails to our governor in Connecticut, Dan Malloy, and sending emails to the White House and stuff. I just joined this great group. It's called Freedom Works. It's free to join, and it's just this online organization of people that really are true patriots, constitutionalists, really, that want to keep American values and our way of life and things like that. But it allows you to talk to other patriotic people and other people that are talking about issues and things like that. So just check it out, whether you want to join or not. It's your opinion, but check that out. Just try to help the cause. We can't let our rights be taken away from us. So really try to do your part. I know it's hard, but even outside of just voting, try to do something. I don't care if you donate, I don't care if you join an organization, just try to help the American cause. So that's just my opinion. Believe what you want, it's up to you, but if you could, leave some comments, that'd be great so I can know what you're thinking. So until next time, bye YouTube.